Hey there, you doing okay today? Feeling a bit of pressure? Or is everything smooth sailing? Whatever's on your mind, take a moment to settle in, because this story's going to make you rethink truth, trust, and just how far you'd go to protect someone. Are you ready to hear it all? Trust me, you won't want to miss a single second of this one. Hey, listener, you ready for a story that'll twist your heart and make you question what you'd do in a tough spot? I'm Amanda, 30, running a small in-home daycare out of my cozy house in a quiet Pennsylvania suburb. It's just me, a gaggle of kids, and a whole lot of crayons. Among the chaos is Allie, the 3-year-old daughter of my best friend, Melissa, who's 34 and juggling life as a single mom. Melissa and I go way back: high school sleepovers, college road trips, crying over breakups. She's family, the kind of friend who'd drop everything if I needed her. But lately, something's off, and it's not just spilled juice or missing puzzle pieces. It's about Allie, and a truth I wasn't ready to face. Melissa's always been open about Allie's challenges. She told everyone, friends, family, method, Allie is nonverbal, meaning she can't speak. Doctors, she said, diagnosed it early, some developmental thing. I took her word for it. Why wouldn't I? When Allie started at my daycare, I expected a quiet kid, maybe some gestures or signs to communicate. Melissa prepped me. She doesn't talk, Amanda. Just be patient. Okay. I nodded, ready to help Allie feel safe in my little world of story time and finger paints. But from the first week, something didn't add up. Allie wasn't the silent kid I'd pictured. Sure, she was shy, sticking to corners with her stuffed bunny, but she wasn't mute. I caught her whispering to herself, soft little sounds like she was testing her voice. Once, during snack time, she giggled and mimicked a yum I'd said. I thought it was progress, a spark of something special. Then came the moment that flipped everything. I was in the bathroom, door cracked, when Allie toddled by, peeked in, and chirped, "EW, stinky," before scampering off. I laughed out loud, stunned. It wasn't just a word, it was a full-on sentence, clear as day, with a cheeky grin to match. This wasn't a nonverbal kid. This was a kid with a voice, and a personality to boot. I couldn't wait to tell Melissa. At pickup that afternoon, I pulled her aside, buzzing with excitement. "Hey, you're not gonna believe this Allie talked today," she said to Stinky, when I was in the bathroom. And she's been whispering other stuff too, like little words here and there. It's amazing. I expected a smile, maybe tears of joy. Instead, Melissa's face hardened, her eyes narrowing. "That's not funny, Amanda," she snapped. "Allie doesn't talk. She can't. Don't make things up about my kid." Her voice was ice, sharp enough to cut. I blinked, thrown off. "I'm not making it up," I said, softer now. She really said it. I've heard her other times too. Melissa's jaw tightened, her arms crossing like a shield. "You're wrong. She's nonverbal. The doctors said so. You think I don't know my own daughter?" Her tone was venomous, like I'd accused her of something awful. I backpedaled, my hands up. "I'm not saying you're wrong. I just thought you'd be happy to hear she's trying to talk. Maybe it's a good sign." But Melissa wasn't hearing it. "Don't mock her," she said, grabbing Allie's bag and marching to the car. Allie waved at me, oblivious, her bunny tucked under her arm. I stood in the doorway, stunned, my excitement curdling into confusion. That night, I replayed it all. Melissa's reaction wasn't just defensive, it was hostile, like I'd crossed a line I didn't even see. I tried to make sense of it. Maybe she was protective, scared I was giving her false hope. Maybe the doctors had been so firm about Allie's diagnosis that any hint otherwise felt like a betrayal. But the more I thought, the more it didn't add up. Allie was talking, not full conversations, but enough to know she had a voice. I'd heard it, clear as anything. Why was Melissa so insistent I was wrong? Why did she shut me down like that? I didn't push back that day. Melissa's my best friend, and fighting over this felt like risking something bigger. But doubt crept in. Quiet at first, then louder. What if Melissa wasn't just mistaken? What if she was holding onto this nonverbal label for a reason I couldn't see? I hated myself for even thinking itches Allie's mom. She loves her fiercely, but the question lingered, gnawing at me. Why would she deny her own daughter's voice? For now, I kept quiet, watching Allie a little closer, listening for those whispers. But the trust between me and Melissa, the kind we'd built over years, felt shakier than ever. Something was off, and I wasn't sure I could ignore it much longer. Listener, this is just the start. Things are about to get trickier, and the truth's not as simple as it seems. Stay with me, you'll want to see where this goes. The weeks after Melissa's outburst were uneasy, like walking on eggshells in my own daycare. Amanda kept her head down, focusing on the kidsily include bit. The sting of that confrontation lingered. Allie was still her bright, quiet self, clutching her bunny, humming softly during playtime. But every whisper, every small word from her felt like a secret Amanda was keeping. She wanted to believe Melissa's reaction was just a mom protecting her kid, but the doubt grew louder. Why was Melissa so adamant that Allie couldn't speak when Amanda had heard her, clear as day? Something wasn't right, and it was eating at her. One morning, during a quiet moment at the daycare, Amanda saw her chance to settle her own mind. Allie was sprawled on the rug, flipping through a dog-eared book about animals, her bunny propped beside her. Amanda knelt down, keeping it casual. "Hey, Allie, what's your name?" she asked, her voice soft, like it was just another game. Allie glanced up, her big eyes steady. "Allie," she said, clear and deliberate. Amanda's heart skipped. "Cool. What's your favorite animal?" Allie pointed at the book. "Tiger." 2 words, small but undeniable. Amanda's hands shook as she pulled out her phone, hitting record without drawing attention, just capturing the sound. No video, no fuss. The clip was short, but it was proof. Allie could speak. She stared at the file on her phone, her thumb hovering over the play button. This was what she'd needed. Something concrete to show Melissa, to say, "Look, I'm not making this up." But fear stopped her. Melissa's last reaction sharp, almost visual in her mind. After that day, Melissa had brushed it off, saying, "Let's just move past it," her tone clipped but final. Amanda didn't want to poke the bear again, didn't want to risk their friendship or her role in Allie's life. So she kept the recording to herself, a digital secret tucked away, telling herself she'd know when the time was right. Deep down, though, she wasn't sure that time would ever come. Then came the birthday party of Melissa's son, Tommy, turning 6. It was a big deal, held at their house, with balloons, a bounce house, and half the neighborhood packed in. Amanda was invited, not just as Allie's daycare provider, but as Melissa's best friend. She wanted to go, to keep things normal, but her stomach churned as she walked through the door. Allie ran to her, hugging her legs, and Amanda relaxed a bit, chatting with parents and scooping ice cream for the kids. Melissa seemed fine, laughing with guests, though her smiles at Amanda felt a little forced. During a lull, Amanda found herself in the kitchen with Melissa's older sister, Karen, a no-nonsense nurse who'd always been friendly. They got to talking about the kids, and Amanda, caught up in the moment, let her guard down. "Allie's been so funny lately," she said, smiling. "She was playing with this animal book and said tiger clear as anything. Oh, and one time she told me my bathroom was stinky. Can you believe it?" She laughed, expecting Karen to chuckle too. Instead, Karen's face went pale, her glass of punch frozen mid-sip. "What are you talking about?" she said, her voice low. "Allie's nonverbal. She doesn't talk. Why would you say something like that?" The kitchen seemed to shrink. Amanda's smile faded. "I'm not making it up," she said, her voice faltering. "She said things to me, little words, sentences even." Karen's eyes narrowed. "That's not funny, Amanda. Don't spread lies about my niece." Her voice carried, sharp enough to draw attention. Heads turned at Melissa's mom, a few cousins, even some parents from the daycare. Amanda felt their stares, a mix of confusion and judgment. Melissa appeared in the doorway, her face tight. "What's going on?" she asked, but her tone said she already knew. Amanda's heart pounded. She was cornered, accused of something she hadn't done. "I'm not lying," she said. Louder now, her voice shaking. Allie's talked to me. I've heard her. The room went quiet, the kind of silence that feels like a held breath. Melissa's eyes burned into her. Stop it, Amanda. Just stop. But Karen pressed, her voice rising. You're saying my sister's wrong about her own kid. Prove it. The challenge hung in the air, and Amanda knew she couldn't back down, not when they were painting her as a liar. With trembling hands, she pulled out her phone, opened the recording, and hit play. Allie's voice filled the room, small but unmistakable. Allie. Tiger. The words were simple, but they landed like a bomb. No one moved. No one spoke. Melissa's face drained of color, her hands clenching at her sides. Karen stared at the phone, then at her sister. The silence stretched, unbearable. Finally, Melissa spoke, her voice low and venomous. Get out. Now, Amanda tried to explain. Melissa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean just telling the truth. But Melissa cut her off. Leave. Amanda grabbed her purse, her face burning under the weight of everyone's eyes. She apologized again, but it felt hollow. She wasn't sorry for the truth, she was sorry for how it came out, for the hurt it caused. But being called a liar, being shamed in front of people she knew, that stung. She walked out, the sound of Allie's recorded voice still echoing in her head, wondering how a moment of honesty had cost her so much. Listener, the truth's out, but the mess is just beginning. Stay with Metha's stories about to take a turn you won't expect. The fallout from Tommy's birthday party left Amanda reeling. Driving home, her hands shook on the wheel. Melissa's words get out ringing in her ears. She hadn't meant to blow up her best friend's world. All she wanted was for Melissa to see what she saw. Allie, bright and capable, saying words that deserved to be celebrated. But the way it came out, in front of family, with that recording blaring like an accusation, it was a mistake. Amanda knew she'd crossed a line, not by telling the truth, but by how she'd done it. The shame of being called a liar stung, but the guilt of hurting Melissa, of fracturing their friendship, weighed heavier. Back home, Amanda couldn't sleep. She replayed the party, the stunned faces, Allie's tiny voice on her phone. She didn't record it to expose Melissa, she just wanted proof, something to share quietly, to spark joy. But she'd miscalculated, and now trust was shattered. The next day, she sent apologies to Melissa, Karen, even Melissa's mom. Short, heartfelt texts. I'm so sorry for how that came out. I never meant to hurt anyone. I just wanted to share what I heard. No replies came. Not that she expected them. She owned her part, she'd been unprofessional, letting emotion override tact. But she was human, prone to fear and hurt like anyone, and being cornered at that party had pushed her to a breaking point. Still, Amanda couldn't shake the bigger question. Why was Melissa so determined to label Allie as nonverbal? Allie's words weren't a fluke, said Tiger. Stinky. Little phrases that showed a voice, a mind at work. Melissa's fierce denial felt like more than a mom clinging to a diagnosis. It felt deliberate. Amanda hated the thought, but it crept in. Was Melissa hiding something? Was she keeping Allie in a box for a reason, attention, benefits, or something else? The idea made Amanda's stomach churn. Melissa was her friend, Allie's mom, not a villain. But doubt had taken root, and ignoring it felt irresponsible. She decided to act, not out of spite, but for Allie. First, she made changes at her daycare. To avoid future misunderstandings, she invested in small security cameras, discreet, audio-enabled, placed in common areas. She updated her contracts, clearly outlining camera use and parental rights to access footage. She called every parent, explaining the new system with transparency. It's about safety and clarity for everyone. Most were supportive, though she hadn't heard from Melissa about Allie returning. The cameras weren't just for protection, they were a reminder to herself to stay objective, to let evidence speak before emotions did. Then came the harder step. Amanda wrestled with it for days, but Allie's voice, her potential, kept her up at night. She started researching child protective services, not to accuse, but to understand her options. If Melissa was suppressing Allie's abolitions intentionally or know that could affect her development, Amanda wasn't ready to make the call yet. but she gathered information, noting requirements for reporting concerns. It felt like a betrayal, even thinking about it, but Allie's future mattered more than Amanda's comfort. She owed it to that little girl to ask the right questions, even if the answers hurt. Looking back, Amanda doesn't know if she was entirely right. Playing that recording was impulsive, born from frustration, not strategy. But she doesn't regret standing up for what she saw in Allie. In childcare, truth can't be buried under adult egos or hurt feelings. Kids like Allie deserve to be heard. Literally and figuratively, Amanda's not perfect, just made mistakes, acted rashly, lost a friend in the process. But she's committed to doing better, to protecting the kids in her care, even when it means facing anger or judgment. So, listener, here's where I land. I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring out what's right, still carrying the weight of that day. But I believe that, when it comes to kids, we can't let pride or fear silence the truth. I'll keep showing up for them, even if it costs me. Thanks for hearing me out. Now I'm curious, what would you have done at that party? Would you have played the recording? Or held back? And bigger still, when does protecting a child outweigh preserving a relationship? Your thoughts might help me see this clearer. So I'm all ears.